So what's popping today, Sarah?
Bill Cosby is what's popping.
Bill Cosby.
Yes.
How now?
And
Why
five
now?
women have
Not again.
And 5 women have now come up to long accuse him of sexually assaulting them.
Oh, gosh.
And this was in the early days of their careers, and they have filed the latest lawsuit against the 85-year-old comedian.
Again?
And they call on and also attaching NBCUniversal and studio and production company as complicit in their lawsuit against Bill Cosby.
Again, this guy can't catch a break.
And he shouldn't catch a break because he's a sexual predator and he deserves all this hell that is coming to him.
I disagree 100%. First,
I
hold on.
completely
So
1000 agree.
Are these the same women or these are other women?
These are different. Well, the lawsuit comes more than a year after Bill Cosby left prison. And remember, this was back in 2018, where he was convicted for sexual assault in a Pennsylvania court, which was later overturned. And now this year, Los Angeles jury awarded $500,000 to a woman who accused Cosby had sexually abused her at the Playboy Mansion in 1975 when she was a teenager. My thing is that if he's not guilty, then why is he settling? Moving on.
Stop. Hang on. Sometimes people settle out of court.
Why would you settle?
Because you don't want...
when you have been accused and you say you're innocent.
Well,
why would you settle?
There are various reasons for this. Sometimes you don't want a protracted legal exercise. So you just want to get it over and done with. And if the person... Essentially, you do a calculation. If this goes to trial, think of it. It's a simple calculation. Having your lawyers represent you for the length of time it might take for the case to close, even if you're found innocent, could go into the millions. Mm-hmm. And yet if the person is saying, all right, or the person's lawyer is saying, all right, if you can pay us this much, we'll drop the case. It might actually...
So what you're saying to me, Fatboy...
It might actually turn out to be cheaper.
So what you're saying to me, Fatboy, if a woman accused you of sexual assault or rape, you will give her money just to shut her up and stay with that stench on your name that you are a sexual predator just because you want to be able to reduce your legal fees? I guess
sometimes it's a trade-off you have to make. It's which you pick your poison, essentially, because sometimes if it goes to trial, you know what else can happen?
What?
Also, through the process of discovery, they might get access to your, let's say, phone records. The judge might order...
That prove that you're a sexual predator.
No, not that, but could reveal other things you would not care to have revealed. Do you know what I mean?
Because you're a sexual predator.
It may even have nothing to do with that.
Because you're guilty.
I think you're not understanding my point.
No, I completely understand.
It's like saying, so the police want to search my house on suspicion of being a rapist, let's say. Mm-hmm. And so they come with a search warrant. And I'm like, wait, they're not going to find any evidence that I'm a rapist. But if they check in my bedroom
they're going
cupboard,
to find that you're a murderer and a pedophile too.
Maybe they're going to find drugs. Maybe they're going to find... Do you know what I mean? So you're like, wait, I would rather that we don't go through this whole exercise. And sometimes that's the thing. And that's part of why Michael Jackson also settled when he was being accused of similar things.
Because he was probably guilty.
But, hey, you know what? I do think that these these cases are frivolous. And now that they're dragging in the TV network as well, you can see this is they just want money.
No.
This is a play for money.
No. I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. Because the ladies are accusing the network of not doing anything about it. And they also go on to say that the network encouraged them to submit.
What do you mean to submit?
Like, you just sleep with him. Like, what's the worst that could
They're
happen?
never going to be able to prove that. That is BS.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to be able to prove
if they're not going to be able to prove that and the network is not bothered about it, then how come they have refused to comment?
Because, for example, if I say that, if let's say, think of a company. Let's say you're running a business and you say to one of your assistants, oh, that's my client. Just be friendly and nice with the client. That doesn't mean go sleep with the client.
No, that means you know exactly what is happening and you're turning a blind eye because you want money from that client. So you are encouraging your worker to go and entertain that person so that you do not, the client does not, take their business elsewhere. And this is exactly what the network was doing. And unfortunately, happens a lot in every organization around the world.
Maybe it's how you define entertain.
Listen.
Aren't there levels to it? Of course, having sex is the extreme expression of that. But whining and dining a dinner, or maybe just...
But you shouldn't make your employee do anything that they're not comfortable with. If your employee comes to you and says that, hey, boss, I'm not comfortable with how this client is, is talking to me, or whatever it is that they're insinuating with, I'm not comfortable with. And then you're like, no, it's okay. Just take him to...
Have you ever done sales or marketing?
I have.
Because in a lot of companies, in a lot of corporate companies, they even extend to you an entertainment allowance that lets you take out your clients for lunch and drinks so that you can discuss business. It's just part of how it's done.
But you see how many clients then turn business into pleasure and want to just want something else in return.
That's what I'm saying. So that's a problem. And if, for example, the client says to the, or rather the boss says to the admin or the assistant or the executive that, you know what, go ahead, sleep with the client, that's crossing a line. But if they just say, hey, be friendly, take them out for a drink, to me, that doesn't seem so bad.
That is very bad. If an employee goes to their boss and says, boss, I am not comfortable with this client, it is your responsibility as the boss to protect your employee and keep them away from that person, because they have already told you, I'm not comfortable because this person is crossing boundaries. And if I react the way that I want to react, we are going to lose a client. You're going to get pissed at me, and then you're going to fire me.
If the person expresses concern about that particular client, either because of stories they may have heard or prior experiences, then I think the boss or the company should intervene and say, okay, let's instead send a dude to wine and dine.
Yes, and that's the best thing to do. Send a dude to wine but again, you find that even sometimes the dudes are not safe.
Hey!
The dudes are not even safe.
Really?
Sometimes.
Wow.
That is true. The dudes are not safe. And just to give you a bit of statistics, did you know that about 54 to 81% of employees experience sexual harassment? And even though the numbers are very high, only about 58 to 72% ever report, and almost 0%, almost 15% of the time, is it handled.
Well, I guess, is that like internal within the organization, or like in the example we're talking about where it's external?
Within the organizations. Within organizations, this was a study that was done by
I'm actually in favor of gender segregation, and that would solve this problem. Men and women should simply not work in the same spaces. Wouldn't that solve the problem? Wouldn't you advocate for that?
No.
We'd be like how it is in the Arab countries.
No, that doesn't solve anything.
Even in the mosque, the women are on one side, men are on the other side.
That doesn't solve it.
You never heard of a woman complaining of harassment in a mosque?
Because
they keep the men over there and they keep the girls over here.
It doesn't work, Fatboy. It's like you saying, because that would solve same-sex sexual harassment and violence. There are men who rape men. There are women who rape women. So it's not going to save anything. It's not going to...
So what's the solution? You're just complaining. That's all you're doing.
The solution is perpetrators like Bill Cosby should suffer for their consequences.
What perpetrators? He has not been found guilty.
He was found guilty.
They're just accusing him.
Well, he's hashing them up. No, not these ones. Well, it is yet to be proved. So until he's proved innocent... He is still the Bill Cosby who has settled with some of the victims.
Yep.
The thing is that he did not deny.
Listen,
he has not denied.
All people are entitled to the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law.
No.
And in as far as this case goes, he's still innocent, so can we call it?
He's guilty because he was convicted. Innocent? He was convicted 3 years ago. He's still guilty. Even though he's 85 years and frail and looking like a bag of bones, he should still suffer for the consequences.
I'm Team Cosby. I think that these frivolous lawsuits and cases are just too extreme. They should just allow him to enjoy the remaining years of his life with some peace and dignity.
No, the remaining years of his life should not be lived in peace and dignity, because he took that away from a lot of people.
So it is alleged.
No,
but
it
unproven.
is a fact. It is a fact.